What's up everyone? Welcome back to Fisk Financial. My name's Eric Fisk, and today we got something that I'm really excited about, something I've been waiting on for months. We're going to be doing a review of the features and benefits for the Blockfi Bitcoin credit card. What could be more exciting than this? The first of its kind, Blockfi Bitcoin credit card. Earn Bitcoin rewards for your daily purchases. And plus, just check out this nifty little thing. Look at that. Now, I'm not any sort of a credit card churner or anything like that, so maybe this nifty little presentation isn't all that new in that space, but it's definitely the first credit card I've gotten that hasn't just come in an envelope, so pretty cool in my book. But enough of that, let's get into the actual features and benefits of this card and figure out, is it worth it? First off, the biggest and most obvious benefit from this card is the 1.5% cash back on all purchases. Except it's not cash back, it's Bitcoin back. Technically, the way it works is not literally every single transaction is immediately getting converted to Bitcoin. Rather, you're accruing points in your account equal to 1.5% of the purchase price. And at the end of the statement, Blockfi then goes and buys the Bitcoin for you. So essentially once a month, they'll do a big Bitcoin buy with whatever you've racked up in your cash back. Now, if you're a big spender, that rate actually does jump up to 2% cash back in Bitcoin, but only if you spend over $50,000 in the calendar year on your Bitcoin credit card. So that's a pretty hefty sum to get to, but I don't know, maybe if you're using this as a business credit card or something where you are spending a lot, it could be an additional benefit there. Another benefit for this card is the 0.25% back in Bitcoin on eligible trades on the Blockfi network. And you can earn up to $500 back in Bitcoin per month through this method. Now, I've never actually traded on Blockfi, so I don't really know what their trading rates are like. 0.25% back isn't crazy good, but if you're someone who's day trading crypto, it's probably something that would add up after time. Another benefit for this card is there's no foreign transaction fees. This isn't all that uncommon with credit cards, but I didn't happen to have a credit card yet that didn't have a foreign transaction fee, so this is nice to kind of add to my portfolio there. Of course, having just had a baby, I really don't see us traveling internationally anytime soon, so probably not something I'll be taking advantage of in the near future, but nice to have anyways. And there is no annual fee with this credit card. Want to make sure that's clear, because when they first announced that this credit card was coming out, there was going to be an annual fee attached to it. I don't remember exactly how much it was, but looking at the card benefits with an annual fee, it definitely made it a much less appealing credit card. But thankfully, Blockfi heard the outcry from its consumers who didn't want the annual fee, and they decided to drop that before its actual release. And there is an introductory offer with this card as well. You get 3.5% back in Bitcoin on all of your purchase in the first 90 days that you have the card, or after you activate it. But that's only up to a maximum reward of $100 in Bitcoin. So if you break that down a little bit, that basically means that if you spend at least $3,000 on the card in the first 90 days, you'll get $100 back in Bitcoin at that 3.5% rate. So again, not a crazy good introductory offer, especially when you have cards like the Discover It card that matches all of your cash back for the first year. That's something where you can definitely rack up a much better introductory offer if you're a heavy spender. So comparatively, $100 back from the Blockfi card isn't that great of an introductory offer, but obviously we know that we're not really here for that. We're here for the Bitcoin. One additional card benefit that is certainly worth mentioning is that any card holders with a Blockfi portfolio that are holding stable coins in their portfolio get an additional 2% APY added to their standard rate. This is pretty decent if you ask me, especially considering some of the rates on Blockfi's stablecoin APYs were pretty good to begin with, so an additional 2% on that just for keeping your money on the account is really a pretty decent kickback. If you think about it compared to like savings accounts, bank savings account, where at this point, maybe you're getting 0.5% at best. I think I'm getting 0.55% in my Alliant savings account. So you're getting 0.5% back compared to 2% plus the additional standard rate if you're keeping your money on the Blockfi network. It's definitely something to consider if you have cash just sitting around idle. might as well put it to work a little bit and have it make some money. Granted, there are inherent risks with keeping money on the BlockFi network that aren't there with a standard FDIC insured bank account, so you definitely need to weigh the risk versus reward there. So that's about it for the BlockFi specific card benefits that I wanted to call out, but an additional benefit that carries some merit is that this card is also a Visa signature card. Visa signature cards come along with a whole slew of other benefits called out on their website. For instance, you can save money on trips to wine country, on rounds of golf. You get a 15% discount on Audi's silver car rental service if you want to go fancy with your rental cars. You also get extended warranty protection on anything that you buy with the Visa signature card. So up to a year's worth of additional manufacturer warranty on anything you buy automatically. Also automatic rental car coverage. If your car is damaged or stolen, they'll reimburse you as long as you use your Visa signature card. There's also a reimbursement for lost luggage if your luggage gets lost while you're traveling. Trip cancellation reimbursement helps pay for the non-refundable pieces of a trip that you may have to cancel. Trip delay reimbursement pays $300 if you're delayed more than 12 hours for any trip. And there's even cell phone coverage. There's airport lounge access. There's coverage for incidental airline fees like in-flight meals or baggage fees. The list really goes on with these Visa signature benefits. I just called out a few that I thought were notable, and these all do come standard with the Visa signature card, so no additional hoops to jump through or things to sign up for. In fact, little side note PSA, a lot of credit cards have some great benefits like this that you wouldn't think about, like car rental coverage and reimbursements for trip cancellations, stuff like that. So definitely something worth looking into if you're staring down an expense that you weren't expecting. See if any of your credit cards cover stuff like that. So at the end of the day, how does this card actually stack up against other credit cards on the market? Is the BlockFi Bitcoin rewards card actually worth it? Ultimately, that's going to be for you to decide for yourself, but we can look at one very obvious comparison, which is that the Bitcoin rewards card has a 1.5% cash back in Bitcoin versus something like the Citi Double Cash card that has 2% cash back on literally everything that you buy. So right there, you would have to say, well, that's a 0.5% less. Wouldn't the Citi Double Cash card be the better option here? Again, I can't really definitively answer that for you. On the surface, obviously 2% is better than 1.5%, but they're both very mindless benefits in that you don't have to think about what you're spending on, like certain credit cards that offer categories of cash back. And there's the other benefits to consider if you're a user of the BlockFi network that come along with the card as well. For me, I just really like that I'm getting cash back in Bitcoin. It's something I don't have to think about. I don't have to make a purchase every time. It does it automatically for me, and it's not extra money that I would have to be spending. It's coming from my cash back from purchases I'm making anyways. But again, at the end of the day, it all comes down to how much you really want to consider and think about your credit card rewards. For instance, I also have the American Express Cash Rewards card. This one I actually do pay an annual fee for because it ups my savings from 3% at grocery stores to 6%. And that includes, you can buy things like gift cards at grocery stores, and that counts. So anytime I'm doing like a home project, I'll go and buy a bunch of Lowe's or Home Depot cards at Kroger, and I get 6% cash back on that. So stuff like that, I'm still gonna gamify my purchases a little bit to make sure that I'm making the most of my cards. But for the most part, I kind of see myself using the Bitcoin rewards card more so for my everyday purchases moving forward. And I almost forgot to mention, there's obviously the added cool factor of the Bitcoin card that it's a metal card. Actually, I don't know if it's metal. It's definitely heavy. It's like the weight of probably 3 of my plastic cards, but it's the same dimensions and everything, thickness. So I'm assuming it's some kind of metal, but it's definitely got some heft to it. Now, I did want to spend some time talking a little bit about the BlockFi network as well, since this card is so closely tied to it with its rewards and benefits. I really have not been an avid user of BlockFi previously before getting this credit card. I obviously knew it was there, but I never really got into it, and I'll kind of explain why a little bit more in a minute here. But it's something worth noting that BlockFi has recently been really dropping a lot of their annual percentage yields on a lot of their accounts. So if you're completely in the dark what I'm talking about, BlockFi will pay you interest if you keep Bitcoin or Ethereum or USDC in your portfolio on BlockFi.com. There's a number of different cryptos that you can keep in there, and they'll pay you interest just for keeping your money there. Their Bitcoin interest rate used to be 8%, which is kind of insane. 8% for literally doing nothing with your money. That's a pretty crazy guaranteed return. But they've recently lowered their rates across the board. Bitcoin, I think, is down to 4%. So it got instantly cut in half, the interest that they were paying on that. And if you look a little bit deeper in their terms of service or their payment rates, you'll see the 4% return is only on the first 0.25 Bitcoin that you have in your account. So at today's prices, that's like, I don't know, $12,500 worth of Bitcoin that you would be getting a 4% return on. After that, from 0.25 to 5 Bitcoin, you get 1.5% back. And anything greater than 5 Bitcoin, you only get 0.25% back in interest. So it falls off pretty sharply, and from what I've been seeing with Blockfi, they've been changing these rates constantly, so it may be even less by the time I'm posting this.
Hey guys, this is Editing Eric coming to you. I wanted to jump in with this little tidbit because the Blockfi interest rates have gone down significantly. As you can see here, now you're only getting 4.5% on your first 0.1 Bitcoin. After that, from 0.1 to 0.35, you get 1%. And after 0.35 Bitcoin, you're getting a dismal 0.1%. It looks as though these rates went into effect on September 1st, 2021, and they are just much worse than they used to be. So granted, they're always changing, maybe they can get better, but the return on this is pretty bad, and I don't think it outweighs the risk. Just wanted to pop in with that little tidbit. Back to the video.
And this has been pretty similar across the board for different cryptos as well. I'm not going to spell them all out, but there's been a lot of fee cuts and interest cuts that they're just not paying as great of numbers as they used to. Which a lot of this is kind of not surprising. That wasn't going to be sustainable forever, but it definitely makes it a little less enticing than it used to be. Now their stablecoin rates, however, are actually still pretty good. For instance, if you keep your USDC on Blockfi, they're going to pay you 7.5% interest on the first $50,000 that you keep on there. And after your first 50K, anything above that, they're going to return 5%. This is really pretty good. Obviously, the trade-off with holding USDC in there instead of something like Bitcoin or Ethereum is you're not going to get the returns from the actual growth on Bitcoin or Ethereum going up in price, because you're just holding it in a stable coin. And it can't go without mentioning again that this is a much riskier option than simply keeping your money in a bank account that again is FDIC insured. Blockfi accounts are not FDIC insured, nor are they SIPC insured. So if something goes wrong, if Blockfi gets hacked, if they lose your coin somehow, you're kind of screwed. This really has been the main reason that I have not used Blockfi. I've always been enticed by that 8% interest return on Bitcoin, but at the end of the day, it's still an exchange. Exchanges still get hacked to this day. And like they say, not your keys, not your coins. If you're trading over those Bitcoin to Blockfi to hold for you, they're no longer yours, and if they lose them, sorry kid. So with all things Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, it's always good to keep a level head. Understand the risk that you're getting yourself into. Never invest more than you can reasonably afford to lose. Of course, no one wants to lose money ever, but you should not be putting your life savings into these things. One, from the aspect of sheer volatility, but also if you're planning to keep that money or those coins on an exchange like Blockfi or Coinbase or wherever, you're opening yourself up to a lot of security risks as well. But what do I know? I'm just a guy on YouTube. All right, guys, that's about it for this one. Please make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, the whole thing. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon.